Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be going over my Game Week 23 transfer targets with you guys. We're going to take a look at what transfers I got lined up, how we got on in the previous game week. But also, I'm going to answer some key questions surrounding this coming game week, but also the double in 24 as well. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. Before we get into this one, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a thumbs up and subscribing down below, it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so before I just get on to how we got on in Game Week 22, what my transfer targets are for next week, I just want to talk about some key questions coming into Game Week 23, but also it kind of runs into 24 as well. So first one up is, are Manchester City players back? Should we be looking to invest in them? Is this now, have they gone through their rough patch and they're back on the good side? For me personally, I'm not too optimistic in the future with them. I just don't really like the fixtures they've got coming up. I know that they've sort of the last few weeks, they've been sort of ticking over, especially Foden in particular. Again, Ipswich, they put 6 past them. It was a massive game. It's fair to say Ipswich had a rotated backline a little bit, so maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. I think we all expected Man City to win the game, but if you had the likes of Foden, Haaland, they got their returns. Going forward, is this the time to go and jump on them? I think if you've got them, especially Phil Foden in particular, because he's on such a hot streak at the moment, I think there maybe is a question to be asked whether you get rid of him or not. However, if you're buying new, I'm not really sure that now is the right time. They've got, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea. They've got some really difficult, Nottingham Forest, they've got some really difficult games coming up over the next few weeks. So I think, if you were owning City assets, it probably was for the sort of past sort of 3-4 game weeks that you were looking to target. And then I think the idea would probably be to move them out before you get to this upcoming run. So I think for me personally, I would just stay away. Like I said, if you've got Phil Foden, maybe there's a question to be had. If you're happy with him and happy with your midfield, then maybe you don't need to make that transfer. But in terms of looking anywhere else, I don't really see many clean sheets for City coming up over the next few weeks. And I don't really see them scoring that amount of goals as they did against this Ipswich team, against the ones that they've got coming up. So for me personally, if you own them, depending on which player it is, there's an argument to hold. But if you're buying new, I think for the time being, I would probably just stay away from them. Okay, that brings us nicely onto the doubles that we've got coming up here. So the first one up, we'll start off with Liverpool first. Is this the week to go and buy Liverpool assets? Are they essential to have 3 of them for sort of next game week? I think it's very hard. All of us will own Mo Salah. Okay, so he's one space ticked off. Now I think a lot of people, not all, because myself is included in this, but I think a lot of people will probably have Trent, which means that's 2 out of 3 Liverpool spots taken up. Now, if you have Trent, I think you just keep him. You're not going to sell him before Ipswich at home, and then they go straight into a double, followed by Wolves in 25. So you're not going to sell him. Is he going to start all those games? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's a very difficult one to say. I think if there's any chance of him being rotated, it probably would be in one of the double games. But with the way Liverpool play at the moment and how integral he is, I don't see why you would change him out. So I think if you've got him, if you've got him, you're definitely not selling him. If you're looking to buy, however, maybe there's a different sort of question mark around him. So I think if you've got unlimited budget, and money's not a problem for you, I definitely would say go for Trent, because I think, if I was on a free hit for the next coming weeks, Trent and Salah would be 2 out of 3 definitely in there. If maybe budget's a little bit more of a problem for you, or you are a little bit worried about rotation and you don't want that risk, I think Konate offers a really good budget way into their defence. He's only 5.1 at the time of recording this video, so he's a really nice cheap way in. Liverpool have got good fixtures coming up. They've got Ipswich at home this week. They're double of Everton and Bournemouth. Yes, they both are away, but still decent-ish games, followed by Wolves. So, it's not a bad run for Liverpool. So I think Salah definitely. If you own Trent, you're definitely going to keep him. If you're buying new, maybe it's sort of like a 50-50 choice depending on your budget options and how you feel about his minutes. The third Liverpool player now, I think this is either one or two players. It's either Gakpo in the attack or Alisson in the defence, because the whole Jota and Diaz scenario, it's not working for me. Whichever one of them plays through the middle, I think will have obviously the most joy. But the problem is that it's hard to predict which one they are. Luis Diaz hasn't really turned up the last few games. Jota as well, is looking like he might have an injury issue. Darwin's obviously come off the bench and, had a fantastic time, got a brace in their game to beat Brentford. Will he continue to start? Will he be consistent? I don't know. I just think Cody Gakpo for me out on the left-hand side, probably should have scored against Brentford. I think it was a 0.72 XG when coming out of that game. So he definitely should have had a goal. And I just think for me, in terms of like reliability, it's never, you could never say never for any player getting taken out of the Liverpool team, especially in the doubles. But I think with the way Liverpool attack at the moment, I think Salah and Gakpo down either wing just kind of looks like the most certain. I think that number 9 spot where Diaz is kind of rotating with Darwin and Jota, I think that's where the real issue lies. Like I said, also, if you're looking to go the other way and go for Alisson, I think he's a fine option. A lot of people will probably be looking to move on from David Raya now, which I just would err on the side of caution for, because Arsenal's fixtures, you know, the last few weeks have been fairly difficult. I don't think many people expected many clean sheets. I think now they're coming into a different sort of run of games where I think you could possibly see more clean sheets. I think if you're doubled up, you want to get rid of one. Maybe that is an easy swap from Raya to Alisson. I think Alisson's a fine hold. You know, as long as he stays fit, he will play for Liverpool. Had a great game against Brentford as well. So yeah, I think he's definitely a fine option. I think if I had to choose one between them for the third Liverpool spot, I think I would just edge Gakpo because he's got the higher upside. But both are valuable options. Final key question, just before we get into my team and how we got on, is about Everton. Are they worth it? I know they scored 3 against Tottenham. I mean, no disrespect to any Tottenham fans out there. Obviously, I am an Arsenal fan, but Tottenham's defense really is awful. So the fact that Calvert-Lewin has got a goal against you, and again, no disrespect to him, I owned this guy for like 7-8 weeks at the start of the season, and he didn't score once. So I'm not his biggest fan, but I think if you're going to pick an Everton player, you'd probably go on the defensive side. I think Pickford is just that safe bet. You know, he's going to play 90 minutes every game. He's going to play every single game. You know, most people are, like I said, are trying to transition away from a David Raya, so maybe he's an option for you. I think the only other alternative is Mikalenko. Obviously, he's a cheaper defender, 4.3 million. I don't really know how many clean sheets I expect Everton to get in the upcoming game weeks, and is bringing a transfer in for one of them just for the double. Is it worth it? Potentially, you know, obviously one of them is going to be Liverpool, which could be a hard game. The other one is, I believe, Leicester for them. So maybe a little bit more of optimism about a clean sheet there. But I think if you are looking to bring in an Everton player, you know, this coming game week or next week for the double, I think definitely it's either one of Pickford or Mikalenko. But I think I'd probably favour Jordan Pickford. Okay, so let's see how we got on in game week 22. So we have got one more game to play, which is the day I'm recording this, which is Monday, and I've got Cole Palmer, but it's not really going to change much of my rank. If anything, it's probably going to hurt my rank because some people will have him captain. I finished on 40 points. It's not, well, I'm currently on 40 points, should I say. It hasn't been a great week. There's been a few players who, you know, really didn't go well. I just wish that I just left my captaincy on Chris Wood like I said I was going to do last week. I changed it to Salah towards the, you know, coming towards the deadline. I just thought, you know, Brentford haven't got the best numbers defensively wise, but obviously they are a good team when they are at home. Should Salah got something out of the game? He probably should have got something. You know, his numbers suggest that, but Chris Wood was the obvious option. You know, Southampton, you know, at home, a goal and assist, 12 points. I definitely could have done with those double points on the captaincy. But you know what? These game weeks happen. So we're on a small red arrow currently. I think we're down to about 1.4 million. I'll leave a little asterisk there because obviously we've got Cole Palmer to play tonight. If he plays, you know, there's some doubt surrounding his fitness. But yeah, overall, a little bit of a disappointing week. So hoping for a much better week next week. And we're going to get into my transfers, which are hopefully going to make that happen. Okay, so when I wildcarded back in game week 20, sorry if you heard that horn in the background there. When I wildcarded back in game week 20, my plan was always in game week 23, this coming game week, to bring in Cody Gakpo. Now, when I look at my front line, Alexander Isak is not going anywhere. I know that Newcastle didn't have a great fixture against Bournemouth. You know, we knew it was going to be a tricky game. I think they were a bit unlucky to lose 4-1, but Isak for me just not going anywhere. Chris Wood, same thing. So that leaves Raul Jimenez. Now, I'm actually happy to get rid of him, and I currently have enough money in the bank to make that transfer and to make that move. Now, obviously, I'm going to keep an eye on price changes and price rises, price drops. I don't think Jimenez is near one at the moment. I don't think Gakpo is near a rise either because he had one last week. However, Liverpool obviously played tomorrow in the Champions League. So I'm going to just hold my transfer if I can to get through that, just to see what lineup they play, to see if Gakpo makes it through the game, you know, without any injuries. So I'm going to try, I would just advise to you guys as well, just try and hold off as long as you can. But that is my only transfer that I'm looking to make this week. I only have one free, and that is what I planned back in game week 20 when I wildcarded. It was always going to be Raul Jimenez out this week for Cody Gakpo. So providing he comes through all good and well tomorrow against his Champions League game, then yes, that will be my transfer later in the week. There was a possibility that I move a defender out. You know, Anthony Robertson was somebody that I was considering, but obviously the last 2 game weeks he's been absolutely fantastic, and I was looking to bring a Liverpool defender in. Obviously they've got a great fixture this week against, you know, Ipswich at home. Konate would be the one that I'd go for. I do have the money to go to Trent. I just think I'd rather save it and invest it elsewhere and just let Konate just cover the Liverpool defense for me. So if I am going to make that transfer, it will probably be either this week or next week. So it will either be Gakpo coming in this week or Konate. I think at the time of recording, I'll probably go for Gakpo just because he's got the higher ceiling. But yeah, I'm also looking at options to move out defenders to bring in Konate as well. But like I said, should just be one free transfer this week, which will be Raul Jimenez to Cody Gakpo. So this is how my team is lined up for game week 23 so far. We've got Matt Sells in goal. I haven't doubled up on the Nottingham Forest defence. I think Bournemouth away is a tricky game. You know, they are a very good side on their day, as we saw from the way they play against Newcastle. So I've gone for just one. Obviously, Sells I already knew would have this fixture when I wildcarded, so he's fine. Back 3 I'm happy of. You know, Anthony Robertson just on a fantastic run at the moment. If it's not clean sheets, he's getting assists. So, you know, he's kind of got all the upside you want from a defender. Same thing for Lewis Hall. Obviously, disappointing game for Newcastle against Bournemouth. Did they deserve to ship 4? Probably not. But obviously, Lewis Hall again has that same attacking threat. So even if they do lose the clean sheet, he is somebody who can make up for that with assists. And obviously, when you're paying that sort of price for a defender, that sort of cheapest price, you kind of want them to, have that upside. It just makes them that much sweeter. So yeah, Lewis Hall, Anthony Robertson. Now finish it off with Yuri Timber in defence. Obviously, Arsenal got Wolves. I'm expecting them to sort of bounce back after that poor display against Villa. It was a great first half. Very poor second half, but I am expecting Arsenal to sort of rack up some clean sheets over this next sort of 5 or 6 game weeks. They've got very favourable fixtures, and I think for the time being, I'll just stick with one defender, but there is obviously always an option to double up. But yeah, for me this week, it will just be the back 3. The 4 in midfield, I think, just kind of pick themselves. Gordon's got Southampton. He's going to start. Salah and Palmer, again, just every week. So long as they're fit, they're going to be playing. And obviously, Brian and Burmo at Crystal Palace. Again, another fantastic option. He's a penalty taker. Brentford do score goals. They do create chances. So yeah, I'm just happy to have. I think my midfield 4 will probably stay like this for a few weeks anyway, at least. Gordon might be the one to come up maybe next week or the week after. But other than that, I think Burmo, Salah and Palmer will just be pretty much in there week in and week out. Finally, up front, Chris Wood and Alexander Isak, like I touched on in the previous section, they're not going anywhere. And the man who I'm looking to bring in this week, I have included him in this team because that is currently what my transfer is looking like it's going to be. Cody Gakpo has got obviously Ipswich at home this week, followed by a double next week. So for me, he offers the most upside. Like I said, I'm considering a Liverpool defender possibly, but for the time being, I want to go for the upside. I want to try and attack the fixtures. And I think Cody Gakpo, along with Mo Salah, really does offer me a good dynamic going forwards. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I will be back, I think, tomorrow with a FPL challenge video, and then probably one later in the week with a final team selection. I'm sorry I didn't get my final team selection out last week or the game week just gone. I had the video recorded, but I just didn't get a chance to edit it. So yeah, I'll be making sure that this one will be uploaded tonight. FPL challenge video will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, and the final team selection will be sort of Thursday evening, maybe Friday morning. So yeah, just stay tuned for them. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.